Hey guys, Jay here, smartly.com. So I got a little update and I figured I'd do the update live. You're going to get some financial modeling uh, examples here. And it mainly is for the biogas model and the wind farm model. Both recent templates I've built and put up on the site. So what I want to do is if you look here, there's up to 5 deployment tranches, and this one is for biogas facilities. So we have a bunch of different costs, timing on when they start and all that. But here we did a loan where you could either make it a regular P&I loan or you can make it a payment in kind loan, meaning that the interest, you don't pay it, but it does accrue, meaning um, the interest you owe, you don't pay, it accrues on this balance, and then the interest goes up until you end the construction period, and then you convert it into a refinance loan. That's a P&I loan. So this all works fine, but the update I want to do, and I'll show you this live, I'm going to do it the update on this one, and then I'll show you how I can copy and paste the logic over, and should be pretty quick on pasting it to the wind farm model, which is the same setup as far as deployment tranches like this. We'll double check, but I think it's got the same positioning of the cells as well. So how do we do this? Well, number one, the logic here is working fine to tell if it should be if there is an interest only loan or a regular amortization loan to start. So if you look at loan one here, this has got an interest only period for 6 months and we're accruing the interest. If we go to our assumption here, you can see we could turn right now pick on or off payment in kind loan. If it's off, then now it just starts regular amortization right away, and the actual model month number is based on site deployment here and when the construction, how long the construction period is. So this is all great. That's fine. That works good. What I need to be able to do now is let's think about it. So to make this interest only trigger, we actually will change the name of this to instead of pick on or off, we're going to say um, IO loan on or off. So now this drives if it does this delay where there's only interest only period. Now all we really have to do is either this accrues or you actually pay the interest and there's no accrual. So we have to add that trigger. So what we go is into the assumptions here, we're going to have to add a column, and I could put it right into here, and I could put accrue interest yes or no. And in theory, this should be fairly simple. I did a more complex adjustment of this type of debt schedule on a different model, but had a little bit more complexities that I had to do. This one should not be as difficult. It was on the recent hydropower construction. Okay, so let's now say you have this option on each of these loans to choose if it's accruing interest or not. And that's the main trigger because a lot of these, after some more research, the payment in kind is not the reason I added it here is because I had just done a project that used it, and so I said, oh, that's kind of nice. So I added that instead of just making it a P&I. But a lot of times during the construction period, you will be paying that interest, and you'll want to know what the interest is and have that affect the amount of equity you need. If not, if it is a payment in kind loan, that's fine. That option, it will still exist. So let's see now. So we want to say if this is yes for this loan, we want to pay here and not compound. So if we look here, what's driving the balance of the principal? It's doing the balance plus accrued interest minus any principal payments. The accrued interest calculation is targeting the interest column. So here, all this logic string is working fine. So it's checking if we're in the interest only period and if interest only loan is on. If yes, just pull the interest, if not, zero. But now what we want to do, and if you're paying interest, obviously it's not compounding. So we want to say if this equals a yes, then we want it to still do what it's been doing. So comma, okay, fine, do that logical string. If not, well, now we don't want to accrue any interest. So we want it to be zero. And that should be fine through the whole thing. Drag that down. Now we go back here. Let's say this is no. Well, now what happens? Well, okay, so we're not accruing interest. However, this interest should be paid. So when I built this originally, I just made these last two columns the actual payments, since there was logic that needed to be referenced in order to figure that out, so it couldn't just be my regular columns. So that's helpful in this, because now I can say, so do this string, but if, so we want to keep it, if J14 is greater than global control 0, we still want that logic, but in this second logic statement, if it's on, that's fine. If B9 is on, wait, let's check what is B9. I believe that's to tell if it's interest only or not now. Oh wait, what? If B9 is on. Oh, up here, right, which is B9, which is pick on off. Now this is going to be interest only, and it'll be on or off. So that's a text change as well. We'll do that across all of these. Now, once I do it for one, in theory, I should be able to update all 5 just copy and pasting over. Okay, so if that is on, then we still want another if statement. Then we want to say if site deployment this equals no, then we're paying the interest, so we need to target that interest here. Otherwise, if it does say yes, then continue doing what you did before, which should work fine, which is just going to say 0 out, and the interest is going to accrue and add to the balance. Okay, let's take out some of these tab labels we don't need here. Okay, I think this works. Let's just let's just try it out. Oh wait, what do we do wrong? So if this is greater than 0, if that is on, then if site deployment is no, then 14. Otherwise do this. Okay. So this one here, this C14 is only triggering if B9 is off. So we need to close this if statement here. And then, okay, now we can go to that if statement that we started up front. So there we go. And there's our interest that's actually being paid. Now you can see on the monthly detail that interest, if we go down to loan 1, just for the first month, now we've got an interest payment here. And there's also logic for interest accrued, because that's going to affect our balance sheet balance to make sure that everything matches assets, liabilities, which all that will work just fine. So let's drag that down on loan 1. There we go. Now look at, so whatever that interest only period is, now we've got interest being paid, and that's cash out. So that is going to account or add to your cash requirement now, and when we go to the final cash flow calculation. So that's good. We have the balance is staying the same. Now, if we did that for, where am I at here? Deployment. Let's say the interest only period was 12 months on this one. we can now go to loan one and see, okay, there. Now look, it's 12 months interest only. So it's 12 months, and then we start with our P&I loan at the terms defined. So not too bad of an update. All we really had to do was update the interest accrual, put a wrapper around it that says just make this 0 if we are not accruing interest. And then on interest, actual interest, we checked within the formula to make sure if it says no, don't accrue, then you got to pay it. So then the interest amount calculated here should pop in here. And the balance calculation is already working fine. So now you can see this is not compounding anymore, but you are paying this interest. Perfect. And so we didn't take any logic away from the model. We've only added more flexibility, and I think this has a real use and will be useful. I will be updating the base versions of this biogas template with this update, as well as the wind farm. Those were the two that used this structure that also use these same types of loans. And yeah, it'll be an update. I'll do a post on it on the website and post a video. And I think this is a good one. I was thinking about doing this for a couple, well, since I built my last, the hydropower model, and I got into that loan, and I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, these were one of the only ones that I added a interest-only period onto, besides all the real estate models I've done, which all the real estate models have this logic already for like new developments, but I didn't do it into the this biogas model or the wind farm. Now we'll have it. So let's look at updating loans 2 through 5. So we've added our column here, and we've changed the label here to say, instead of pick on or off, IO loan on or off. And we kept all the logic text the same, so this still works if you just change the label. Because in fact of how it's working, all we were doing here on this column is defining if there is a period before the principal and interest happens, and if so, only calculate interest during that period. Otherwise, just use the loan terms here, stabilized interest rate. And loan to cost percentage still works just the same. So we have this in theory. Honestly, I don't want to copy and paste this whole thing. And it's not necessary, and it could lead to other errors that are not foreseen. I'd have to update the positioning of all of these well, let's see. I don't want to reposition or check the position. So really, I'm just going to look at interest accrual, because that was the one that we changed. Let's just copy that logic and go into loan 2, update, loan 3, update, until it get the least amount of errors. I always like to copy and paste logic in the bar instead of copying it from the tab and pasting it over. So there we have it. And then we'll go back, and now let's actually do, so T6, but now we're going to go to T7, right? Because loan 2 is the second deployment. And so column T, and that's for the accruing or not, and then S is the IO or not, which is going to be this next column that we do. So for this one, it's T7. Everything else is the same. You drag that down. Here it's going to be T8. We got to go down another row, so T8. Loan 4 is now T9. Everything else is the same. Loan 5 is T10. Okay, so now all these should be set. If I go back to here and turn, so all these are on, but this is accruing interest. If I hit no on these now, they should start paying the interest. However, it won't until I update the interest payment column with the same logic as this. So here, we now go here, and notice how it keeps all the references on the tab, and that's why it's not a great idea to have the tab name within a reference to a cell on the tab you're working on, or else I couldn't do this. So now the only change we did was this here. All the other positions are all already correct on the right places because all the amortization schedules are the same. So this is just T7. And now we're paying that interest. And let's just paste that into the rest of these and adjust the cell reference. Now, honestly, I'm thinking about, oh wait, let's see. So this was T6, T7. So this is T8. When I transfer it to the new workbook, I think it might be easiest to do the same thing I just did here. But let's take a look. So T8. Wait, did I miscount? Hold on, it's hard to talk and think at the same time here. So this was 6, 7. This is 8. This should be 9. Okay. And 10. Now, if you didn't get these cell references right, well, what would happen is when you change the little lever on the site deployment, it wouldn't do anything. Okay, now if we go over to the monthly detail, all of these are now paying interest during the construction loan period once they start, and then the interest will go to P&I after whatever the construction length is for each of the loans. Balance sheet still all works. Everything's good. Awesome. We didn't disrupt any logic and we only added new, and I think this was a low impact update. So we're going to save that and I'll update the site with it later tonight. And let's take a quick break. If you want to know where you can buy the template, it'll be right over here on smarthelping.com. Both of these are in the industry specific, and biogas and wind farm are the two ones I'm updating. So this one, which is $45 one-time fee, I will update the screenshots as well, and I'll put a note on somewhere probably in their features that I updated so that the loan can be interest only that accrues or does not accrue. Before, it just always accrued if there was an IO loan. Now you have an option to do it or not. So that will be that, and the wind farm, same update. Okay, let's get back in here. So now next is wind farm. Let me select that. Okay. So similar deployment schedule. I don't know if it's in the same position, which could make it tricky. Let me see here. So if I go to site deployment on the other model, column S is what we're calling this. So back on the wind farm. Oh no, it's different. Okay. So I'll have to manually do this update again. So let's see here. So interest only period. No, pick on off. This is what we're adjusting. IO loan on off. And then right before IO rate, we're putting this other piece of logic that says, I'm just going to make the text the same. Accrue interest, yes, no. Put the validation on here to yes, no instead of on off. Okay. And let's just put yes for now for all these to make sure it works. So it just should be the same, and then we could start changing it. So what we have to do, let's go to loan 1. So we're in a different model, same exact logic. And remember here, so the interest accrual, let's check our other model for reference. What did we put here? If it's yes, so we say if deployment IO loan, if it's, or sorry, accrue interest. If that is a yes, then continue doing what you've been doing model, which is accruing and compounding. So keep that. But if it says no, which anything but yes, then zero it out. And we lock that. Then all we have to do is copy paste, 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 paste. Okay. And change the reference. Oh, and then this can be drugged down. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. And I just want to double check. Let me look at the other model, make sure we drug everything down. Yeah, it looks like we definitely did. Perfect. Yeah, we did. Okay. Now if we hit no here on all of these, we should not see any interest accrual. Good. But now it's saying you're not paying anything, which you could also have this situation. I guess it'd be pretty rare, but if you had to loan and you didn't have to pay any interest for like a grace period and it did not accrue either, you could just put a 0% interest rate to get this same effect. But more likely than not, you're going to have interest payments here. So let's update this. Now for this one, it was a little bit trickier. So we had to go, we wanted to keep this in front, checking if we're past the end date or not of the forecast period. If B9 is on, which, oh wait, B9 is on this here. So that's pick on off, but remember it's not pick anymore. We're just going to call it a interest only. So a little bit different terminology. So let's update that on this. All 5. And loans 6 and 7 are just regular operating loans, so those aren't subject to these intricacies. All right, now oh yeah, so interest. So we want this to show up if it's interest only is flicked on and accrual is off. So we're checking if it's on. Okay, do this. But before we do this string, we want to say if deployment this. Oh, now, wait, which one did I reference before? If the interest only switch is on, I'm trying to think now. Hold on. I've lost myself in the logic. Let me go back to the other one and see what we did there. I know you can't see this right now, but so we did if T7 is no. Okay, so we did it after the on. So after we asked if it was on or not, then we asked if it was yes or no. Okay, got it. So here we say, is it on? If it is an interest only loan, then we ask, okay, it is or isn't. If it is, if accruing interest equals no, then we want to pull this value, which is the interest value here. Otherwise, do this, and then remember we got a closed bracket here, and then back to this one, which was referencing if it was an interest only loan or not. I want to remove the reference to that loan tab, lock this. There we go. Now we've got our interest only calculation happening within the same logic, nothing broke. And we reference C. Oh, let me go check the other model as well, make sure we reference the right interest column. Yes, we did. Column C, okay. There we have it. Now all we got to do is copy this string. And this is my life. So stuff like this, usually it's a client requesting an update. and I'll have to go in and make sure it works, make sure all the 3-statement modeling is still all intact and everything's flowing through. Now, since I built this template, it's pretty easy for me to ensure that, but sometimes it's harder with a different client that has theirs. I have to go in and understand all the different references. X6, this is now 7, 8, 9. That logic is some of the most complex stuff I ever have to do. Just requires a lot of logic. All right, 8, 9, and then 10. Okay, now let's test one of them out. Let's look at, say, loan 3. Let's say we're doing interest only loan is off. Okay, no interest only loan. So yep, we're going right to P&I. That all is working. Notice how this is ignored. This is the correct payments here in L&M. This is the reference over here. Okay, let's go back. So let's turn this back on, but then let's say we do want to accrue. So yes, accrue interest. Now if we go back to loan 3, okay, now we are accruing. No payments being made. This is going on the balance that gets refied at that amount in the future. Perfect. And balance sheet should all look good. It still balances. Let's check the monthly detail. Same style here. We have our loans at the bottom. There's interest only on these. No interest only on loan 3 right now at the moment. 4 and 5 start later. And then eventually, so they're paying interest only. Then there's the P&I refi principal and interest starting on that one. For this, started all the way back here, so you can see interest only on loan 1, interest only, interest only. Oh, now a little bit different interest. Interest starts to go down. Principal payments start to happen. All right, beautiful. So all this is working wonderfully. We are happy with all of this. I'm going to update my site and download files with this updated version. So now on both of these renewable energy templates, you can easily switch on or off the interest accrual, as well as if you're even going to use an interest only loan or not. And if you're using all equity, no loans, you could just put 0% here and everything gets zeroed out. Like if I zeroed this all out, okay, I've got no debt on those. These are just all zero in that case. Loan 6 and 7, I'd have to manually zero those out on those tabs. All right, let me undo that. So we'll just leave this like this for the base template. You can come in here, use these templates, adjust all the cells in yellow to fit your situation and see what the numbers look like. I'm just going to resave these, get them referenced or stopped on the front page. Just checking the other one to make sure monthly details all the way to the top and the left. I've had clients, not had that in a while, but it definitely is easy to get confused on the freezing of the rows and columns. So sometimes if a tab is frozen and it's halfway down, they won't even know there's a top part to even scroll up to. So I try to always make sure on my templates when I save them, every tab is up and to the left the max it can go so that there's no confusion on when you open it and look through each tab. Okay, and I'm just double checking everything. All right, we'll save that. We'll upload it everywhere that the template exists online, all the vendors as well. And that's a pretty good update. Over the long haul, I've already had a lot of purchases on these models, the new wind farm and biogas. So over the long haul, this will be relevant and cause or reduce a lot of headaches that a user might have with the loans. Alrighty guys, like and subscribe if you want to check out more. I build financial models for a living. You can see everything I've built here on the All Financial Models tab. I do a lot of SaaS and real estate work, but also just general industry models. startup models, a lot of different joint venture waterfalls these are really easy to plug into any of the models and just target the annual distributions tab to figure out what your cash out and in is of the project and reference that at the top of these different waterfalls and see how cash can be split between operators and investors based on different deal structures. Most common here would be the IRR hurdle waterfall and then the preferred return, general preferred return. I've also got some general business valuation templates, some accounting templates to help with things like cost of goods sold, cost segregation study, just some general things that accountants might need or be useful for an accounting department at a company. HR management, general Google Sheets, sales pipeline stuff, and a bunch of bundles. I've got bundles for all these different categories. You can get major discounts or you can download the full template library for $9.99. That includes all the models I've built and will build in the future. So enjoy, and I will keep on trucking along. If you guys have any updates you want to see on different models or whatever, just let me know. You can email me, jason@smarthelping.com. And I do custom work, hired out for $195 an hour if you want a new job for building some kind of financial model for your business. I'm happy to do that. I do quite a bit of, really the past 4 or 5 months, my billables have gotten a lot more busy, a lot busier, but that's been a good thing. Alrighty. Oh, before I forget, I don't talk about this a lot. The template discounts tab, you can buy more than one template and get percentages off the more you buy. So between 3 and 9 templates, you get 30% off the whole order. Between 10 and 19, you get 40%. If you buy over 20, you get 50% off. And then the pre-built bundles are like 60 to like 90% off, 80% off. You get a whole bunch of templates at that by buying the different bundles that you see here on the right-hand side. Or you can get the whole entire Super Smart bundle, everything on the site, which is over like 200 models for $9.99. Very useful. I've been building these things for 10 years. And people pay me to build things. After doing that, 1,000 different times, I kind of see what is valuable and what's useful, and then I've just built templates for that stuff. Alrighty, guys. See you on the next one.